Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. It's New Comic Book Day, and the first book we're talking about today is New Mutants number 3. This one is not written by Hickman. We have already moved on to Brisson and a different artist, Flaviano. So even though Reese did the cover here, which I really quite like, we've got a whole new creative crew on here. So, for some of the people that maybe did not like what was the direction of the first two issues, maybe you'll like what's happening here. Especially because we go all the way back to Earth. And we're dealing with Krakoa and a few of the other new mutants that were left behind. Now, I don't even know if you can really call them new mutants. They're newer mutants because there's like partial groups in here when we get a little bit of a description of the sextant in here. So the whole space thing, maybe that's Hickman's thing, and maybe Brisson's doing the Earth Krakoa stuff. Maybe that's what's going on here, and why they'll have different art styles. That could be interesting. I'm not going to really talk about the art because I think it's all right. It's definitely a different take than Reese and everybody thinking that that's like Sienkiewicz's work, but I think it's fine here. But for me, it's always been about the story. I love great art. I love when the art makes sense, and I'm learning a lot more as I get back into comics. Even though I've been back into comics for almost 4 years now, still learning. It's never too late to learn new things. But I, for one, happen to think that this is a pretty good book. This issue is pretty darn good, and it's moving. Even though this is different than the space story, it's tackling a subject that's kind of something I've been thinking about. One. Where are all the other mutants? There are a bunch of people that we haven't seen, and one of the new mutants, Armor, decides to try to start tracking down people that haven't checked in, people that are just kind of out there in the wind. Another thing is about kind of like what happens in X-Men number 3 with the plants and the medicine and stuff, is seeing the actual application of what can be done with the plants at Krakoa and how it can actually help people. There's only one thing at the end that kind of bothers me, and that's the people that show up at the end, and how did they know they were there unless they were always watching this mutant house. And I guess that's a possibility. Somebody's just watching for a gate to open up, or watching this house of mutants saying, well, these are mutants, so somebody eventually is going to come, and when they do, we'll be ready. That's, I guess, what I think happens here. And so we have Armor and Glob just being really happy that how great everything is, and she talks about how she wishes that everybody was here, and she wishes she could find them, and bring them here. Maybe if we can find who's missing. So Armor takes it upon herself. This issue is called To the Grave, by the way. And yeah, I'm starting to go why are we wasting so much page on this? It's big and grand and great, but Let's tell more story. So she gets Sage to start checking out who hasn't checked in. Bishop, check. Dazzler, check. Then she gets to a couple of people that she actually knows, like Beak and Angel. Now, I don't even know who Beak and Angel are, to be honest with you. But they're two characters that had kids together and took off to Nebraska and haven't checked in for whatever reason. So she gets this list together. Sage gets this list together for Armor, and Armor goes on her way to tracking down Beak and Angel and find out if they can bring them there. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. No big epic, thing like this. I like Glob. I think he's an interesting character. Even though all he ever really talks about is how lonely he is and how he wants to find a girl, and it's I can relate to that. Being very bizarre and looking like he does, right? He's a big glob with a skeleton inside. So it's not, but still having the feelings of a normal kid who sees everybody pairing up, and it's well, why not me? Why, there's all sorts of freaky looking people here. Why can't I get love? And it's been kind of his thing for a long time, but it's still kind of endearing because you look at this thing, this horrifying, because I'm sorry, he's horrifying to look at. But when you hear his words, it's very hard not to be feel sorry for this character. Well, they go to Sunspot's apartment, his little area of the sextant, where you find Boom Boom, who I haven't seen in a while. I was wondering where Boom Boom was myself. Some people, can give or take Boom Boom. I like Boom Boom. Can I say Boom Boom anymore? Boom and a Boom Boom. Well, she's rifling through Sunspot's stuff while he's gone, because that's what she would do. Totally would do. And she's looking for adventure. And they tell her, like, look, why don't you come with us here, We're trying to find, we found out why Beak and Angel haven't checked in. And it's because there's this disease. And they're trying to figure out how to get the appropriate medicine for it from Krakoa. So she goes out to find out about the disease for them, but then we never see her again, which kind of sucks. And when I do see the art here of like Boom Boom, I kind of go, I don't know if, it's, I don't know. But we do, the white page here where it talks about the sextant, there's two interesting things here. That there's, for the formal ongoing classrooms, it's all our students and all our teachers, so it's kind of like everybody's learning from everybody. But the best part is the legend. That there's Generation X, the new X-Men, the Frost Academy, the Five, which I would say would be the five that are, in charge of the pods and everything. Communal, the Jean Grey School, Omega House is redacted. So that's interesting. And then Alpha House is the New Mutants. It says the pod. So Delta is Generation X, Zeta is the new X-Men, Beta is the Frost Academy, the Pod is the Five, Life Death is the Communal. What the hell is that? Sigma is Jean Grey School, Omega House is redacted, and Alpha is the New Mutants. That's interesting to me. Also, the twin psychic kids come along for the ride. I don't know how that could go wrong, especially when they say, hey, if your friend doesn't want to come with, we can totally make him come and make him forget that he ever wasn't at Krakoa. I remember these kids, I believe, from X-Men Legacy, starting out with when they met Legion. I think those are the same kids, where they were getting corrupted by the Yakuza, I think. Well, they make it to Nebraska, and you find out that there's just a nice, happy family. They got these, it's like one of those, when they show people that are from different looking things and how they blend their mutations. So like they have wings and weird faces, but they're all cool about it. And you find out that the reason they didn't come is because Beak's parents, mostly to say his father, has this very, very bad disease that is basically, it's called Taylor-Ellis disease, and it's a real thing, and it's very rare, and that's one of the interesting things about this was like, well, why didn't they just come to Krakoa to get help? But what's they throw in here conveniently for plot is that Taylor-Ellis in the white pages is a disease that was brought to the public spotlight after the namesake of the disease, Taylor-Ellis. He had it diagnosed in '94 and died only 4 months after he was diagnosed at 54. And it says, while the cause of the disease largely remains a mystery to most scientists, it's believed that a mutation in red blood cells causes a buildup of plaque within the amygdala, hippocampus, and prefrontal cortex. This plaque blocks pathways connected to cognitive memory, which results in an inability to carry out day-to-day functions, eventually resulting in a full system shutdown. And that because of the rarity of the disease, there has been little research into the causes and potential cure. That's fucked up. However, it has been recently reported that a cure will be made available to nations who accepted the Krakoan Sovereignty Pact. Estimated 10,000 people with it. 90% diagnosed die within 6 months. And it's diagnosed in patients between the ages of 50 and 67. And man, I gotta stop spitting. And so that's why they couldn't get it there. But since Armor was able to figure it out, she brought the cure. And it immediately brings the guy out of it. And then immediately after that, there's a problem. They go to like talk about things, just not even to force them to come back, just like, hey, we did what we could, but if you've now, proven to you that there's help here, maybe you want to go. Well, then these guys show up, and this guy's design is just awful. I'm sorry. He just looks like, what the hell is he? He's just, he looks like he's going to be in the game Cyberpunk 2077. And he wants to, they're saying that your kind have refused our people access to important medicines. And, he's got guns on the kids. Angel's freaking out. and he shoots a missile at armor, right, right here, and it turns out to not really be a missile, but more like a power dampening missile. And if you don't start helping us out, we're gonna kill the kids. And there was the question of why, why are they doing this? And Armor's like, well, we don't know who they're going to send to deal with Beak and Angel if we tell someone. We don't want Wolverine coming and freaking everybody out. Well, this is when the kids say, well, now we know why Wolverine's brought in first, because when situations like this happen, you might need somebody who can go into a berserker rage and take out some really poorly designed bad guys. But otherwise, really good book. I really enjoyed that, and it answered some questions for me. And we got a break from, if you don't like the space stuff, maybe you like this. If you don't like this, I don't know what to tell you. Brisson's a different writer than Hickman, and quite honestly, I liked this quite a bit. And so, I'm looking forward to what happens in issue 4. I think issue 4 takes place in this, they're continuing with this story, so I guess we're taking a break from space for at least a couple of issues. So I'm fine with that. And I don't know what you guys think, but I thought that was a pretty decent issue. So if you like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, all that yada yada yada. It's late. I got a lot of books to read, so we're making this kind of quick. So you can find me on Twitter at reviews_gun. If you feel like donating to the channel, we have a PayPal at paypal.me/smirkinggunreviews. Otherwise, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying we'll be back with X-Force number 3 in just a little while. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next comic review. Bye.